Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches. Well, did you read my name of this video? What was on the thumbnail? Aliexpress Grail Watches. Did you think, what is James talking about? You can't get a Grail watch on Aliexpress. You can get some good watches, you can get some affordable watches, but Grail watches, I don't think so. I think this guy might be a little bit loopy. But stick with me and I'll tell you why I am considering these watches that I'm going to share with you today as Grail watches. And they're on AliExpress, so they're AliExpress Grail watches. Recently, I've bought some watches in and outside of AliExpress that have shifted the way I think about what a Grail watch is. Firstly, I start to think that there are watches at different price ranges that exceed that price range so much, that are so good that they deserve to be sort of pushed up a level in regards to how I consider that watch. Secondly, I had then considered the actual definition of Grail, and let me read it out to you. Because from the Oxford Dictionary, it says, a thing which is eagerly pursued or sought after. And I've been applying that to my watch collecting and what I've been doing to find watches out there. And I have bought lots of watches in AliExpress. I've spent countless hours going through all the watches that are on AliExpress, and it really has felt like a journey to not only find some good watches that are on AliExpress, but also to come across or stumble across or find some amazing watches on AliExpress. And the ones that I'm going to share with you today aren't just good watches, they are fantastic watches. And that's why I think they should be called AliExpress Grail watches. I've gone on a journey to pursue and find these watches. They are outstanding in their price category, and putting the price aside, they are fantastic, amazing watches. Now, I'm sure there's quite a few watches on AliExpress that are as good as this. I just haven't come across them yet, I haven't bought them yet, and I only want to share with you ones that I've had hands-on experience with, watches that have arrived, and I've thought, wow, that watch is absolutely fantastic. Not only is it a fantastic watch, not only is it good for the price, but it is just wonderful. And I enjoy wearing them, I enjoy looking at them, and I enjoy the experience of that watch, the ownership of that watch, more than what I should really experience for the price, and from a website called AliExpress. And of course, if you are interested in these watches at the end of this video, which you should be because these ones are fantastic, I would not recommend them to you otherwise. I will leave some affiliate links down below. If you choose to use those, I really do appreciate it. And guys, if you are watching this video and you haven't hit on that subscribe button, I really would appreciate it if you did so. It is quick, easy, and free for you guys, but it makes such a big difference to me and the channel. But let's check out these watches, and I'm going to put some footage over the top showing them to you as I read out some information about them. Now, the first watch that you see here, you are going to recognize. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because there is a huge amount of information and reviews out there about this one, but it is absolutely a standout watch. It is the Sandman SN004G, coming in at the moment at 350 Australian dollars. This watch was the first watch that I bought from AliExpress that blew my mind. It is an absolutely stunning watch. It is a 38mm case diameter. It has that stunning rivet bracelet, and I understand that not everybody loves it, but I think it is absolutely wonderful. And you can get it with an NH35 movement or a YN55 movement. This watch really did blow my mind away. It is so good, it is so well done, it is so well finished, that it almost sort of set my sort of future standards for Sandman so high that I almost was disappointed in any future Sandman watches that I got after that. The next one I've spoken about lots, and you may find this funny one to be on this list, but when you take into account how affordable this one is, it is absolutely stunning. It is the Bernie AM038M. It used to be around 50 Australian dollars, and I said when I first got it that this was an easily 150 Australian dollar watch. It's now coming in about 60 to 70 Australian dollars, so it is a little bit more expensive. I won't talk too much about it. Again, there's lots of content out there. I've done reviews on it myself, but it is a 40mm case diameter, contains a Seagull ST1602 movement, which is similar to a Miyota 8215 movement, but the difference between those movements is the Seagull actually has a bi-directional rotor, so you don't have that Miyota noise. This watch is something that has stayed in my collection that I continue to wear today, well after a year of ownership of this watch, and it deserves actually a little bit more sort of push, I think, because it is particularly stunning. Now let's jump into a couple that I've particularly found that I particularly love that perhaps hasn't had as much love shown to them by other reviewers out there. Firstly is my Tactical Frog H5. This thing, when it arrived, changed the way I thought about AliExpress watches. The finishing, the look, the feel of this watch, it is beyond good. It is absolutely brilliant. And then when you consider it is 225 Australian dollars, it completely changed the way I think about watches. It is beyond good. It is fantastic. It has a 44mm case diameter, but don't let that size put you off it, because it is an obvious homage of a Seiko watch. It means it has a much shorter lug to lug, therefore it is very wearable. Comes with the NH35 movement as well, so it's very, very reliable. The only negative for me about this watch, which is not a particularly negative, is that there wasn't an option with a nice integrated bracelet, because I would have loved to have seen this watch with an integrated bracelet. As it stands, came with a very good rubber strap. Next one is absolutely a watch that I've probably worn more than any other watch from my AliExpress collection. It is the Escapement Time Type B Flieger H0292. Currently selling for 240 Australian dollars. This one I put a lot of effort into picking because I thought at the time perhaps I'd only buy one Type B Flieger or one Pilot watch, and I wanted to get the right one at the right size with the most interest factor at the right price, and this one ticked all the boxes for me. Has a 40mm case diameter, features the PT 5000 movement, which I'm very happy with in this particular watch. The size of this watch is absolutely perfect. The price is absolutely perfect. The finishing is wonderful, and it has those beautiful touches of blue on the hands, and it has that awesome onion crown, which I really appreciate in this Flieger style watches. Also comes on a really good leather strap too, a lot better than I actually expected from this watch. The next one actually might surprise you. It's the Gustav Becker by Serges. This is the army watch that is a homage of a seagull watch, but this watch is so well finished, so well put together, and so well priced that it deserves absolutely to be on this list. It is one of my absolute favourites that I've ever purchased from AliExpress, and it is only 170 Australian dollars. And for 170 Australian dollars, you get a well-made watch, a good-looking watch, a watch containing a Seiko NH35 movement. It is a 44mm watch, so it is a little bit bigger, it has a slightly bigger lug to lug, and it is one that has just really, really impressed me. The strap has also really, really impressed me. And this is a watch that I wear a lot. And I know if I get a watch in and I just want to wear it all the time, then it is something a little bit special, because I do buy a lot of watches and some of them really stand out compared to others. And the one that has stood out to me most, not just from AliExpress, but from almost any watch that I've ever bought, is the Roadland Pilot. This thing is incredible. I have to say that when this arrived, I had very low expectations of it, but when it arrived and I looked at it, closely, I was shocked. I was absolutely floored. This thing cost me 250 Australian dollars. It contains a beautiful looking seagull hand winding movement. It is rather large, but it does sort of suit that large sort of aspects because it is a pilot style watch. But what shocked me is that I really think that this watch looks and feels and is finished like a watch that I think should cost triple or quadruple the amount of money. It would not have surprised me if I'd picked this watch up and it cost 1,000 Australian dollars. Yes, okay, a seagull movement perhaps would pull that price down a little bit. Perhaps it would be rather sort of overpriced if it was $1,000 and contained a seagull movement. But if we put that movement brand aside, this thing is incredible. It is now one of my most worn watches in my collection. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite watches in my collection. And those other watches that are in my top 5 cost a significantly more than this watch. This watch has absolutely stunned me. So what do you think? Do you think they're Grail watches? Do you think I'm an absolute lunatic for saying that they're Grail watches? Well, I consider them Grail watches. They took me a long time to find. It took me a long time to filter out other watches. It took me a long time to sort of understand that there are watches on AliExpress that stand head and shoulders above others there. In AliExpress, there are huge amounts of watches. There are watches that are cheap and nasty. There are watches that are reasonable. There are lots of watches that are really well made, that are worth the money, that you get lots of great specifications. There are some watches that are amazing, which really stand out. And then there's these watches. They stand above all the other watches. And I certainly think that there are going to be other watches on AliExpress that are just like this, and I'm going to be actively searching them out. Because if you can buy watches like these ones that I've spoken about today at the prices that I've told you about today, then I need to buy more of them because I love these watches and I want to own more of them and I want to share them with you guys. All right, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I really would appreciate if you guys leave some comments down below about any watches that you have this experience with, whether it's Aliexpress or not. It's great to hear about watches that stand head and shoulders above other watches, especially in a price category. You know, I buy affordable watches. You guys buy affordable watches. It's nice to be able to find watches in the affordable range that are amazing. Really sort of significantly better than the price seems to represent. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Always do appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.